Here we go. Alright, hey, what's up everybody? Just wanted to hop in here real quick. This is about present day to a day before this video has gone live. About a week after we shot all the commentary documenting the install on this particular project. I wanted to hop in here real quick and just give you a little update on the state of things with this project and how it possibly could have fared out a little better despite how good this ProVista is looking now. So as you could tell from the title of this video, guys, I have graciously partnered with the folks over at Scott's. They did graciously supply me with a set of their Scott's ProVista Kentucky Bluegrass Sod to showcase and test on my front and side lawn. So Scott's, if you're watching this, I sincerely appreciate that. One thing I wanted to mention right out the gate about this ProVista here is the installation process and how we could have done it a little bit better. You see, what ended up happening with the way that we scheduled things is the sod got here a day early before we actually got to laying it, which means it sat on the pallet for a good 24 hours in the hot sun before it did get laid. And because of that, it did bake some of the pallets, as you'll see on my side yard here. What I would recommend is if you are doing a project with the Scott's ProVista Sod, or really any sod for that matter, it's a good idea to have the ground already prepped and ready to go and have all the old material up so that once you get the pallets, you could start laying them within an hour or so of actually getting it. That way, once you get it on the ground, you could start watering it and you don't have anything drying out or cooking in the sun. So that's what I would advise to you, is once you get the sod, it's very important that you at least consider, if you can, to get it down as soon as you get it. Otherwise, I'd say this project went pretty good and I'd say you guys are in for quite a treat. So yeah, enjoy the video, folks. We are talking everything you need to know step by step on how to sod or resod your lawn. Let's get into it. I have officially decided to rip up my perfectly green lawn. That's right, folks. After 15 years of living on this site under good care, that's me, I have decided to rip up my lawn and start over from scratch with sod. Now, let me go ahead and explain a little bit of why I did that. Now, there really wasn't any like, hey, I want to just rip this up because I hate it type thing, right? Recently, I decided to reach out to the folks over at Scott's ProVista and see if we could maybe work together in showcasing some of their Kentucky bluegrass. You see, I wanted to do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it doesn't grow as much as my old grass. As a matter of fact, it grows about 1/3 of what my old grass does, which means I only have to mow it once every 3 weeks as opposed to once every week with my old grass. Number two, it doesn't require as much fertilizer to stay green, and it's also double the darkness of what my old lawn was, which allows me to get much more out of it for much less. Number three, it's glyphosate tolerant, which means that if I want to spray weed and grass killer on it to control any noxious, hard to control weed in this lawn, I can do it without phasing any damage on this grass whatsoever. So that, my friends, was a selling point to me and why I wanted to do this. Now, I will say this, if you are a mowing crew and you are incorporating sod installs and landscaping into your business, this is going to be the go-to grass type because you're able to spend less time and less resources maintaining the grass, which in turn will allow you to do other things on site, such as landscaping, weeding, trimming bushes, all that type of stuff, which allows you to make more profit in your business by spending less time on your well-manicured turf. So in a nutshell, guys, what we're getting here is a low-maintenance turf that looks like high-maintenance turf, and because of that, I thought it would be perfect to try out on this lawn. So the last thing I want to talk about before we get into the meat of this video really briefly is timing, guys. A lot of people are asking, when is the best time to sod a lawn? Now, friends, the answer for you cool season folks is going to be very similar to fall seeding, and that is going to be in either late spring or early fall. The reason that is because during these two times of the year for cool season folks, this is when temperatures are cooler, the sunlight isn't as direct, and on top of that, we're also getting a lot of rain help, which will assist us greatly in watering to help these roots get down deeper. Now, regardless of what rain you're getting, it is very important that you do keep this irrigated. We got a solution for that later on in this video, so please keep watching. But anyway, I digress from that. Late spring and early fall for cool season is the best time. Now, if you're warm season and maybe you're sodding with the Scott's ProVista St. Augustine grass, the best time for that is going to be late spring heading into summer. We're trending up in temperatures and heading into your rainy season of the year to again help assist that lawn greatly in rooting. That's what I recommend with timing for warm and cool season of the Scott's ProVista grass. The first thing you want to do is you want to rid the area of any old or existing material. Now in our case, we're removing a perfectly good Kentucky bluegrass lawn, so we did have to rent a couple of tools to get the job done, one of them being a sod cutter. Folks, I will say this, if you are doing a job that involves this much labor, you are going to want to have a couple of friends with you. In my case, we had about 4 on the first day, 2 people with sod cutters and 2 people removing the sod. That's what worked out very, very well for us, and that allowed us to get this done in a timely manner. So that is step 1, rid the area of any old existing material and do it in a way that is timely and less strenuous on your back.
How we doing here? How we doing here?
You know, we're hanging in there, bro.
Hanging in there. Making some sweet ass progress is what we're doing.
Jake's just running machinery all day like
That's
an
right.
operator, and we're just his grunts.
No, Silverback is the one running all the machine over there.
That's the royal silverback who is native and boy, but notice how he uses his tremendous traps to propel the sod cutter.
You're tearing it up. Look at that. Silverback. Did you have a good run?
What?
Did you have a good run there?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it all up, huh? Look at that. Man.
We're doing great here. I literally thought this was going to take us 2 days, but if we wanted to, we could probably lay today, but I don't think we're going to. Yeah.
Good job.
All the sod is ripped up, boys. You just got to do that. Prepping the bed, if you will, for the sod that you are about to lay on. This could be a couple of things. Number 1, actually running the sod cutter over once more on some strips that you might have missed, because that does happen with sod cutters, even though you do get the overlap pretty much perfect. Go ahead and run over any strips that you might have missed. Number 2, doing a little bit of raking to help smooth and level out the area and just pick up any debris that you really weren't able to get by hand as you're running the sod cutter. It's a good idea to just rake everything into a pile and shovel it into a wheelbarrow, get it off site, because again, we want to remove as much of the old stuff as possible to help with rooting later on. And number 3, leveling or adding any dirt into low spots if need be. Now in our case, we didn't have to do that because this area was pretty much smoothly graded. There's really nothing much that we have to worry about here, but in your case, if you do have any bumpy spots that you need to smooth out, it is a good idea to go over those with a leveling rake or a regular rake and just kind of smooth that dirt out and get all of that debris off and ready for the sod. Now step number 3, this is where we're actually going to dive in and put down our first application of fertilizer. That's right, we're doing this right before we lay the sod on the ground. In our case, we're going to be utilizing the Greene County Fertilizer Next Seed Starter Pack. This is a liquid fertilizer. Now if you are using granular fertilizers or a different brand of fertilizer, make sure you stick within what that brand recommends for sodding and seeding. But in our case, what Greene County Fertilizer recommends is applying 16-21-2 Green Pop. That's the first round of fertilizer from the Next Seed Pack, which you can get on my website, by the way, link down in the description below. Anyway, I digress from that. You want to apply this on top of the fresh dirt before you lay the new sod to, again, help with rooting, which we'll talk about later in this video. But anyway, you want to apply the 16-21-2 Green Pop at a rate of 15 ounces per thousand to the bare dirt right before you lay the sod. Now, means of application can be any of which you want. You could do a hose end sprayer, you could do a backpack sprayer, you could do a tow behind sprayer, whatever means of liquid application you have, that is going to work just fine in getting this application down. Actual fun of laying the brand new sod. Now, there are a couple of things I want you to go ahead and take into consideration to help for a nice, clean, professional looking install, and that is to, number 1, pick a line of reference, if you will. In our case, that is the sidewalk. We decided to start laying along the sidewalks to help create a very nice straight pattern, if you will, of laying the sod. Now, another thing I want you to keep into consideration when you are laying sod is to lay it in what is called a running bond fashion. So what you want to do essentially when you're laying the rolls of sod is you want to have it patterned out kind of like you're laying brick for a house. You want to have 1 roll, 2 roll, 1 roll, right? You don't want the seams to meet, because when the seams meet and they start to establish, it looks a little weird, right? So you don't want that to take place when you are laying the sod. You simply want 2 rolls, 1 roll, 2 rolls, 1 roll. Doing that will ensure a nice, clean looking install that will blend all of the pieces together much faster, so that when they take, it starts to look like one beautiful lawn. So do the puzzle correctly when you're laying the sod. Running bond, 1, 2, 1, and you're good to go.
Now, well, hold on. Well, you're gonna cut it a little.
That's because the knife's dull, because you hit the cobblestone.
Yeah, you're gonna cut it a little cleaner than that. All right, so you see that? Now watch this. Ready?
Just look at it.
Look where this goes. Oh, wait, wait, wait for it. There we go. Perfect. Done. Walk away.
Knife drop.
Geometry, ladies and gentlemen. Yep.
Okay, finish. All right, time to drink some beers now. All right. There we go. Oh wait, we still have another half the yard to do. That's right.
And he's leaving.
Rolling the lawn. This is something you want to do right after you get the sod on the ground to help it become one with your soil. You see, one of the things that sod can be vulnerable to, because it does weigh a ton and it is not yet connected to your soil, is a little bit of runoff. So if you somehow get like a monsoon like rainstorm, that can actually make your sod run off and go in all sorts of different directions that we don't want it to. So one thing you can do to kind of help boost the unification process of your sod and your soil is to actually roll it with a lawn roller. Now there are so many different ways you can get and or rent a roller. In my case, I went to Home Depot rentals, kind of like I did for the sod cutters, and I was able to pay like 30 bucks and get it for a whole 24 hours, and that was enough time to actually roll this lawn. So all you really do with the roller is kind of go over the area like you're mowing the lawn, go back and forth, and just roll the sod into the ground, and boom, you are good to go. The sod is one step closer to being connected. Just 2 more things we got to do, and this sod is set for life. If you have an irrigation system, I will say congratulations. You have it way easier than anybody else who doesn't have one. Now, for those of you who don't have one, you're watching this video, I don't want you guys to worry, because I've actually made a ton of videos showing you guys how to build your own DIY irrigation system with nothing but sprinklers that you can get at a Home Depot, Menards, Lowe's, any hardware store out there where you can find lawn sprinklers. Those are videos you're gonna wanna check out. I actually call it the JTLK irrigation system. So if you wanna learn how to put together the JTLK irrigation system, I will leave all those videos linked up and down below. What I recommend is setting your sprinklers to run at least 20 minutes 3 times a day. So that would be like 5 a.m., noon, and 3 p.m. Essentially, the idea is we want to keep this ground wet. That way we can help constantly keep this sod wet until it roots into the ground. And then once the sod is rooted sufficiently, which we will talk about in upcoming videos, you can go ahead and cut off the daily watering, stress it out a little bit, and then go into more of a deep and infrequent watering to close the season out if you're toward the end of the season, or, you know, just help your lawn progress through the summer if you're doing this in late spring, early summer. So yeah, get your watering in line, folks. This last step is really only going to apply to those who are using the Next Fertility products from our good friends over at Green County Fertilizer. Especially if you're running the seed starter pack, this is the way you're going to want to do it. So if you got down the 16-21-2 green pop right before the sod went down, you watered that in for a couple of minutes, all that, laid the sod, what you're going to want to do to top it off with this little fertilizer sod sandwich we're making here is you're going to want to go ahead and spray down the Next RGS product at 3 ounces per 1,000 via a hose end sprayer, backpack sprayer, whatever you got. As we talked about earlier, either application means it's going to be fine. You're going to want to go ahead and spray that down on top of this turf and water that in for a good 5 to 10 minutes after you do so. Now, RGS, for those who don't know what it is it's a root growth stimulant, so it's going to do just that. It's going to help these roots get down into the soil and chase the nutrients from the 16-21-2 that we just applied. So RGS, 3 ounces 1,000 on the new sod, water it in for 5 to 10 minutes, and then from there, just keep watering the lawn 20 minutes a day, 3 times a day, until step 3, which will take place in a couple of weeks.